This is CBS 12 News at 6.
New information tonight after a local widow wins nearly $2 million in a lawsuit against a nursing home. She says the home lied and covered up what caused her husband's death. CBS 12's Ben Becker joins us live in the studio tonight with more on this story. Ben?
Well, George Dahmer was known to his family as Hootie, but for a generation of professional wrestling fans, the Boynton Beach resident was known as Chief White Owl. His family is glad the Tomahawk Chop King has won his final match in court.
From Cherokee, North Carolina, at 242 pounds, Chief White Owl.
From the 1950s to the 1980s, in Florida, Michigan, and hundreds of places in between, George Dahmer, a.k.a. Chief White Owl, used his signature tomahawk chop to carve out a living in the world of professional wrestling.
George Dahmer, sir, was neglected to death because of profits. He was killed as a result of revenue.
Joseph Landy is the attorney for the family. He says Dahmer entered Lake Worth Manor nursing home, now known as Oasis, in February 2008 due to senile dementia. By May, he was dead.
What we're out to do is slam the brakes on nursing home neglect and abuse.
Debbie Dahmer is George's daughter. The family says George lost 32 pounds, suffered ulcers to both heels and his backside, which became infected and caused his death.
It was unbelievable. It was gut-wrenching. What this family went through and what he went through is totally unacceptable.
Because he was very, very popular in his days.
The Chief coming back with a flying drop kick.
Patricia Dahmer was married to George for 49 years. Dahmer formed a prominent tag team in the old WWF with Wahoo McDaniel. One of his career highlights was a victory in Madison Square Garden. Patricia hopes his notoriety will help change laws and bring attention to nursing home abuse.
He was Chief White Owl, and people knows him from way back. And I think this is really going to open up the eyes of a lot of people.
We reached out to the nursing home and received this statement. Quote, "This was an extremely complex case involving a patient with multiple disease processes who had been treated by 4 separate facilities and different attending physicians. We feel the jury's decision was unfair and are considering an appeal." Ben Becker, CBS 12 News.
Live, local, from WPTV. This is News Channel 5 at 5. Local coverage you can count on.
A Lake Worth nursing home will now have to pay a South Florida family close to $2 million for neglecting a patient. In February 2008, George Dahmer had end-stage senile dementia. The former pro wrestler, who was admitted to a nursing home called Lake Worth Manor, also now known as Oasis. 2 months later, he was discharged 30 pounds lighter. He had ulcers in both of his heels and his tailbone, which doctors believe caused his death. The family then sued Lake Worth Manor for neglect, and a jury awarded them nearly $2 million.
We want to go to Tallahassee and change the laws, you know, for the nursing homes, because there's so many of them that's neglected because of lack of staff. They're not inspected, and we just want to do everything we can to change the laws.
George Dahmer wrestled professionally for over 32 years under the name Chief White Owl.
Covering the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is WPBF 25 News at 5.
$1.7 million. That's what a judge could order a West Palm Beach nursing home to pay the wife of a patient after a jury found the nursing home was negligent. This is George Dahmer in 2008. His wife Patricia says the photo on the left was taken just before he entered the Lake Worth Manor nursing home. The photo on the right was taken, she says, after weeks of neglect. Her attorney says Dahmer was malnourished. The nursing home staff failed to provide him with the proper care, which resulted in sores on his back and feet. He says Dahmer was transferred to another facility 2 months later, where he died.
So in this particular case, George Dahmer died as a result of profits. George Dahmer was neglected to death as a result of revenue and as a result of profits.
I was in shock that we reached a verdict, and we proved that they was in the wrong, and the jury had done a very good job.
Just minutes ago, we got a statement from the Lake Worth Manor nursing home. It says, patient care is and has always been our #1 concern at Lake Worth. We want to express our heartfelt sympathy to the family. This was an extremely complex case involving a patient with multiple disease processes who had been treated by 4 separate facilities and different attending physicians. We feel the jury's decision was unfair, and we are considering an appeal.